A few months ago, my food-obsessed cat, Leo, completely stopped eating. As he started losing weight, I panicked and spent over $100 on a dozen different cans at the pet store. That's when I realized the wet cat food aisle is a total nightmare. Frustrated, I spent the last 3 months rigorously testing dozens of top-rated wet cat foods to find a genuinely nutritious option a picky cat will actually eat. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 absolute best wet cat foods on the market to save you time, money, and headaches. Make sure you stick around for the number 1 spot. It's a holy grail food that completely caught me off guard and fixed Leo's digestive issues almost overnight. 5. Weruva Kitten Chicken Formula. When I first started testing new foods, I naturally gravitated toward Weruva because of their stellar reputation in the pet food industry. I picked up a pack of the Weruva Kitten Chicken Formula, specifically focusing on the high-quality protein promises. Right off the bat, the ingredient list reads like human food, featuring cage-free, white meat chicken as the primary ingredient. It is designed to be easily digestible for sensitive stomachs and comes packed with added vitamins, minerals, and taurine essential for a growing cat's development, making it a very safe starting point. The food is incredibly hydrating, which is a massive selling point since many cats simply do not drink enough water on their own. The texture is a very fine, minced puree suspended in a generous amount of chicken broth. For weaning kittens transitioning from milk to solid foods, this ultra-soft, soup-like consistency is genuinely fantastic and incredibly easy for them to lap up without having to chew heavily. However, my testing experience revealed some notable frustrations with this specific formula. The moisture content is incredibly high, so high in fact that it often feels like you're paying premium meat prices for what is essentially a can of chicken-flavored water. When I opened several of these cans, the actual yield of solid chicken was surprisingly sparse, leaving my cats begging for more food just an hour after mealtime because it simply wasn't dense enough to keep them full. Additionally, the cost per ounce is quite steep considering the lack of physical substance in the can. While it serves a very specific purpose for tiny kittens who need maximum hydration and easily swallowed meals, I found it to be a rather poor value for a robust, growing kitten or an adult cat needing dense caloric intake. 4. Rawz Natural Shredded Meat Canned Chicken. Rawz has built a massive following among hardcore cat nutrition enthusiasts because they take a very firm stance against using any artificial binders, gums, or fillers. The core feature of this food is that it is 100% natural, utilizing only shredded chicken muscle meat and chicken broth, completely omitting the controversial carrageenan, gar gum, or xanthan gum found in almost every other commercial cat food on the shelf. Instead of cheap thickeners, Rawz uses fenugreek seeds to naturally bind the moisture and the meat together. This is a brilliant approach because fenugreek actually provides digestive benefits and is completely safe for feline consumption. The protein levels are exceptionally high, and because it skips the heavy carbohydrate fillers, it is highly biologically appropriate for an obligate carnivore. On paper, this food is an absolute masterpiece of clean, transparent pet food manufacturing. Yet, when we actually put it to the test at home, the reality of the food fell slightly short of its premium pedestal. Because it lacks those traditional commercial binders, the consistency of the food is wildly unpredictable from can to can. Sometimes I would open a tin and find a nice, tender shred of chicken, but more often than not, the meat had compressed into a dense, dry puck at the bottom of the can with the moisture completely separated. This unpredictable texture proved to be a massive hurdle for my cats. Leo, who prefers a consistent mouthfeel, would often take one sniff of the drier, tightly packed cans and walk completely away. Having to manually mash and rehydrate a premium-priced cat food with warm water every single morning defeated the purpose of a convenient canned diet. While I deeply respect the nutritional philosophy behind Rawz, the textural inconsistency and the exceptionally high price point make it a frustrating product to rely on as a daily staple. 3. Tiki Cat After Dark Chicken. This is the point in my testing where I truly started seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Tiki Cat is well known for their luau-themed foods, but the After Dark line is a completely different beast, designed specifically to mimic the natural prey diet of a wild feline. It doesn't just use chicken breast, it is packed with nutrient-dense organ meats. The standout feature of this food is the inclusion of chicken liver, gizzards, and heart right alongside the shredded muscle meat. In feline nutrition, organ meat is nature's multivitamin, providing naturally occurring taurine, iron, and essential amino acids without having to rely entirely on synthetic powder supplements. When you open a can of After Dark, you can actually see the distinct dark pieces of organ meat mixed in with the white chicken shreds, all swimming in a rich, clear consomme. The feeding experience was an absolute joy to watch. Both Leo and Luna went absolutely crazy for this food the second the pull tab popped. The broth is incredibly savory, and unlike the earlier products I tested, the meat to broth ratio here is perfectly balanced. They were getting the vital hydration they needed from the savory soup, but there were plenty of substantial, chewy meat shreds to keep them engaged and satisfied long after the bowl was licked clean. Tiki Cat After Dark is an incredible step up in quality and a massive crowd pleaser for picky eaters. The only minor consideration is that some cats who are strictly used to smooth pates might take a day or two to get used to the large, realistic chunks of heart and liver. But once they make the transition, the health benefits are undeniable. It provided an immediate boost to their energy levels, and it has easily earned a permanent spot in my pantry. 2. Orijen Premium Tuna Salmon Beef. Orijen has long been the gold standard in premium dry kibble, but their expansion into wet food is an absolute powerhouse of nutrition. This specific recipe is a heavy-hitting surf and turf combination that utilizes the whole prey concept. This means they're using muscle, meat, organs, and bone to provide a complete nutritional profile that closely mirrors what a cat would hunt in the wild, leaving absolutely zero room for empty carbohydrate fillers. The defining feature of this Orijen recipe is its sheer nutrient density. It incorporates high-quality tuna and salmon, which are naturally loaded with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, paired with rich beef and bone broth. This combination promotes unparalleled skin and coat health while providing a massive dose of highly digestible protein. The texture is a very rich, dense, and flaky pate that holds its shape beautifully without being rubbery, indicating a total lack of cheap gelatinous fillers. When I tested this with my cats, the first thing I noticed was the incredibly robust aroma. It smells like actual, high-quality fish and roasted beef, a scent that might be strong to human noses, but is an absolute homing beacon for felines. Luna, who had been struggling to maintain her weight during our previous food trials, absolutely thrived on this. Because the caloric density is so high, she didn't need to eat a massive volume of food to get the energy and nutrients she required, and she started filling out beautifully within just 2 weeks. Orijen Premium is nearly unbeatable if you are looking for the most biologically appropriate, heavy-hitting protein source on the market. It delivers on every single promise of premium, ancestral nutrition. The rich fats from the salmon made both of my cats' coats incredibly soft and significantly reduced shedding. 1. Weruva Cats in the Kitchen. If you remember the open loop from the beginning of this journey, I mentioned a holy grail product that completely fixed Leo's digestive issues and brought his appetite roaring back to life. This is that product. While I had mixed feelings about Weruva's kitten formula earlier, their Cats in the Kitchen adult line is an absolute masterpiece that strikes the perfect balance of every single thing a cat owner looks for. The feature set of this food is flawless. It is entirely grain-free, starch-free, and carrageenan-free, focusing heavily on premium human-grade cuts of meat. The specific pouches and cans in this line use a masterful blend of chicken and fish, providing a broad spectrum of amino acids. But the true magic lies in the moisture delivery system. It uses a very light, natural gravy that binds the shredded meat together perfectly, ensuring the cats consume the water and the protein simultaneously rather than just licking up the broth and leaving the dry meat behind. The testing experience was a revelation. The consistency is a brilliant hybrid between a mince and a shred, making it incredibly easy for cats to eat regardless of their age or dental health. The moment I put this bowl down, Leo didn't just eat it, he inhaled it. More importantly, the clean ingredient profile and lack of heavy thickeners completely eradicated the minor stomach upsets and litter box issues he had been experiencing with other store-bought brands. His coat became noticeably glossier, his energy skyrocketed, and the daily mealtime protests completely stopped. Weruva Cats in the Kitchen balances ultra-premium, human-grade ingredients with a texture that even the most notoriously stubborn cats cannot resist. It provides the ideal ratio of hydration to satisfying meat content, ensuring your cat is full, healthy, and properly nourished.